Listen closely, because what is happening today has not happened in 165 years. It's not a monthly shift, not a seasonal transition, not something you can circle on a calendar and casually move past. This is a structural rewrite, and you are here for a reason you cannot comprehend yet. So stick with me. April 2nd is the moment the spiritual architecture of this entire planet begins to change. And most people will not feel it. They will wake up, scroll through their day, move through conversations, carry on as if nothing has shifted. But something has. Something irreversible. Because for the first time since 1861, Neptune, the planet that governs dreams, illusions, spirituality, and the deepest layers of the human unconscious, has left the ocean of Pisces and stepped into fire. The last time this happened, the world that existed before it did not survive in the same form. Structures collapsed, identities fractured, entire systems were forced to rebuild from the ground up. And now, it is happening again. But this time, it is not just happening around you, it is happening within you. And if you felt something the moment you heard that, if your attention paused, if your chest tightened slightly, if your breath shifted in a way you cannot explain, that is not coincidence, that is recognition. You did not find this message. This message found you, because something inside you is already responding to a shift your mind has not yet caught up with. The collective dream that has governed humanity for the last 14 years since 2012 is ending today. Neptune is leaving Pisces. The fog, the confusion, the dissolving of identity, the endless searching for who you are without ever fully finding it, that era is over. And as Neptune steps into Aries, the sign of identity, the sign of I am, the sign of fire and initiation, something begins. Something that does not ask who you were, something that demands who you are. This is an identity earthquake, and the ones who are meant to feel it first are the ones who were never meant to stay asleep inside the old version of themselves. You were never meant to scroll past this moment. Stay with this message, because what unfolds next is not information, it is activation. And if you feel that pull, if something deep within you is recognizing these words before your mind can explain them, then mark this moment. Comment "are born," not as a habit but as a declaration. Subscribe, not because you should, but because something in you already knows. You are not here to observe this shift. You are here to become it. Now, let's break down exactly what is happening in the cosmos and why today is not just another day. For the past 14 years, Neptune has been in Pisces, its home sign. This is the realm of dreams, intuition, the unconscious, and spirituality. Neptune in Pisces was like a fog that swept over humanity. It was a time of spiritual awakening, but also of spiritual confusion. It blurred the lines between who you truly are and who the world conditioned you to be. For many of us, it was a period where identity structures began to dissolve. You might have felt lost at times, uncertain of who you were or where you were going. But the fog had a source. Neptune, moving quietly behind the scenes, influencing the collective unconscious. That era is now finished. Today, Neptune is stepping out of Pisces. For the first time in your lifetime, it will never return. The fog that clouded your vision for so long is lifting. If you've ever wondered why you've been in a spiritual crisis, why you've struggled to define who you are or what your life is about, now you know. The source of that confusion is no longer hovering over you. And now, as Neptune enters Aries, everything shifts. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, the sign of self, of identity, of I am. It's the energy of initiation, fire, and action. Aries demands that you become. Neptune in Aries is no longer about dissolving your identity, but about transforming it, about becoming who you truly are. This is a huge leap from the Piscean dream state. It's a wake-up call from the unconscious to the conscious. What you once surrendered to, you will now actively create. The last time Neptune crossed this threshold was in 1861, and that was the year the old world collapsed. Civilizations tore themselves apart and rebuilt from the ashes. The same type of transformation is happening now, but this time it's not on a global scale. It's happening within you. The next 14 years will demand that you become the version of yourself that has always been waiting to rise. To further intensify this, the moon is currently transitioning from Libra to Scorpio. Libra is about balance and harmony, while Scorpio is about depth, transformation, and emotional intensity. With the moon shifting into Scorpio, emotions are going to deepen, and things that have been hidden from view are about to be exposed. We are also still in the full moon energy, a time of illumination. So, not only is Neptune shifting the very foundation of your spiritual identity, but the moon's energy is pulling up what has been buried within you, just beneath the surface. What does all this mean for you? Your spiritual identity is being reconfigured in real time. You are undergoing a transformation that begins deep in your emotional body, and your conscious mind is only just beginning to catch up. As Neptune shifts today, you might be experiencing deep internal changes already. It's not just abstract cosmic energy. These shifts are manifesting within you. You might already be feeling them in your body, your emotions, and your psyche. These are the symptoms of a spiritual identity fracturing, a process that can feel unsettling, but is actually necessary for your growth. Here's what you might be experiencing right now. Sudden unfamiliarity with yourself. You look in the mirror and feel like you're meeting a stranger. It's not frightening, it's unsettling. You may have noticed that everything you once defined yourself by now feels fluid. Your sense of identity is no longer as fixed as it once was, and you might not recognize who you were yesterday. Old passions and goals feeling hollow, things that once excited you, that once motivated you, now feel irrelevant. What you were certain about only weeks ago now seems alien, like it belonged to someone else's life. You may feel a strange sense of loss, not because of something gone, but because your old identity is simply fading away. Vivid or disturbing dreams involving past versions of yourself, dreams about younger versions of yourself, or even versions that seem completely unrecognizable. This is Neptune working in the dream realm, reworking the past and your personal narrative. The stories you've lived are being rewritten while you sleep, a heaviness in the chest or throat. It's not sickness, it's not anxiety, but there's a physical sensation in your core. Something is being released. Old energy is leaving your body. It feels like something is unloading from the deepest parts of you. Sudden emotional waves with no clear trigger. You might feel grief for something you can't put a name to, or sudden waves of joy that arise without any logical cause. There may be an overwhelming sense of mourning, but it's not personal. It's ancient. These waves of emotion are the soul responding to what is being dissolved within you. Withdrawal from roles that once defined you. The caretaker, the achiever, the strong one. Whichever role you've worn as armor suddenly feels too heavy, too false, too small. You might want to step away from these roles and reclaim something more authentic, a magnetic pull toward solitude. It's not loneliness, it's necessary solitude. Your spirit is insisting on privacy while it completes the most important renovation of your existence. You may feel like you're meant to be alone, to recalibrate and realign with your true essence. Heightened sensitivity to inauthenticity, you can no longer tolerate pretending. You feel it strongly in yourself, and even more intensely in others. Lies and half-truths that once felt manageable now feel unbearable. The truth is pushing to be acknowledged, within and around you. For the past 14 years, Neptune in Pisces has been shaping the version of your spiritual identity that you've known until now. But this version of you was not entirely yours. It was a composite of everything you've been taught to believe, everything you've inherited from the world around you. It was built from the collective dream, the stories passed down from society, culture, and even your family. It was shaped by trauma responses, by the things you thought you were supposed to be, by the roles you wore to survive. But today, all of that begins to dissolve, not with a dramatic collapse, but in a quiet, deep and irreversible unraveling that has already started. This isn't an overnight shift, this is a slow burn, a steady peeling away of layers that no longer fit who you are becoming. The version of you that once knew exactly who they were is becoming quieter, less certain, less defined. You might feel like you're slipping out of your own hands. And in its place, something raw, something unnamed is starting to stir. The real you. This process might feel like dying. It might feel like loss, like a disintegration of everything you thought was stable. But it's not your soul that's dying. It's your old identity. This is the collapse of the container that held you for so long. The identity structure that once supported you, that allowed you to move through life with a sense of who you were, is being dismantled. Because it can no longer hold who you are becoming. This might feel like grief. It may feel like you are mourning a version of yourself that you once held dear. But here's the truth. That version was never fixed. It was never permanent. It was always temporary. Every limitation you once accepted as part of you. I am not enough. I am too much. I am broken. I am behind. These were never the truth. They were part of the Piscean fog. And that fog is lifting. You might feel sadness, but it's not personal. It's the grief of completion. The soul is mourning the identity it is outgrowing, not because that version was bad, but because it is finished. You are not falling apart. You are being taken apart, deliberately, precisely, by a force that knows exactly what needs to go and what needs to stay. Trust the process, even when it feels like everything is dissolving. Especially then, Neptune in Aries is not just dissolving the old, it is igniting the new. For 14 years, your spiritual journey has been about surrender, dissolution, and letting go, but now that phase is coming to an end. The fog is lifting, and you are stepping into something entirely new. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, the sign of I am, the sign of identity and self-assertion. Aries is fire, courage, and action. It is the energy of becoming, and Neptune's entry into Aries is no longer about surrendering your identity. Now, it is about claiming it. Neptune in Aries demands that you become. It demands that you step into the version of yourself that has always been there, waiting to rise. For so long, you've been on the path of spiritual dissolution, but now the time has come for you to actively create your reality. You are not building a new identity. You are allowing it. It has been forming beneath the surface for years, waiting for this exact cosmic permission to rise. The identity emerging from you is not something you need to construct. It is something you need to allow. You may feel it already as a new boldness in your thoughts, a sudden refusal to shrink, to settle for less than you deserve, a clarity about what you will no longer tolerate. This is not an external creation. This is an internal awakening. The chosen one identity is not bestowed upon you from outside. It ignites from within when the conditions are right, and the conditions have never been this right. You might feel a paradox right now. You might feel both more powerful and more vulnerable than ever before. This is not contradiction. This is genuine transformation, the fusion of strength and tenderness, of power and vulnerability. You are not just changing, you are being reforged. The fire of Aries is not burning you. It is revealing what has always been indestructible within you. The version of you that is emerging does not need external validation. It does not shrink to fit spaces. It does not apologize for its presence. It simply is. This is not who you are becoming. This is who you have always been, finally given permission by the cosmos itself to step forward. Right at this threshold, the old identity will make its final stand. Fear will rise. Doubt will surge. Your mind will flood with reasons to retreat, to stay in the comfort of what's familiar. The voice inside your head will whisper, "Who am I to become something greater?" That voice is not wisdom. It is the echo of an identity that knows it is being replaced. It knows it is losing its grip, and it will scream the loudest at the exact moment before it fades away. Fear, doubt, and resistance at this moment are not a warning to stop. They are confirmation that you are exactly where you need to be. This is the moment of transformation. The door does not open for the fearless. It opens for those who choose to move forward despite the fear. Neptune in Aries does not reward hesitation. It rewards raw, trembling courage. The courage to say, "I don't know who I am becoming, but I trust the becoming." You may hear that voice of resistance telling you that you're not ready, that you should wait, but understand this. Every old pattern, every outdated belief, every comfortable limitation will try to reassert itself in the coming days and weeks, not because you are regressing, but because what is being replaced is making one final attempt to survive. Let it speak, let it rise, and then let it go. Because what is rising within you is stronger than anything trying to hold you back. And deep down, you already know this. You've known it longer than you realize. When your internal identity shifts this deeply, your external reality cannot remain the same. It is energetically impossible. Reality mirrors frequency, and as your vibration changes, so too will the world around you. People will begin responding to you differently. Some will be drawn closer, recognizing your new energy and frequency. Others will create distance, unable to match where you are going. Do not mourn the distance. It is not rejection, it is alignment in action. Opportunities that match who you are becoming, rather than who you were, will begin to appear. These opportunities may look unfamiliar. They may not match your old plans, but they will carry a resonance that you cannot deny. Old relationships, environments, and habits that were once in alignment with the Piscean version of your identity will begin to feel heavy, outdated, constricting. This is not loss, it is your reality updating to match your new frequency. As the moon moves into Scorpio today, it accelerates this process. Scorpio does not allow half-truths to persist. Everything misaligned will be exposed. Everything that is truly yours will be strengthened. Synchronicities will begin to multiply. You may notice repeating numbers, names, encounters that feel orchestrated. This is the universe confirming the shift in the only language it speaks. Pattern, timing, resonance. You are not simply watching your life change. You are watching your life respond to who you truly are. And this response will accelerate as you stop resisting and start trusting what is unfolding. What once felt like effort will begin to feel like flow. Not because life becomes easy, but because you are no longer pushing against your own nature. You are moving with it for the first time. The shift that occurred today is not temporary, but it is fragile in its early stages. Like any newborn thing, it needs protection, attention, and conscious care to grow. Integration is key. This is not the time to rush back to old patterns when discomfort arises. It's not about explaining your transformation to people who cannot yet see it, nor is it about demanding immediate external proof that the shift is real. The new identity does not need validation. It needs cultivation. It needs your attention, your patience, and your willingness to sit in the unfamiliar without reaching for old comforts. This is where many people turn back, not because they are not chosen, but because they are unwilling to nourish what has been awakened. Awakening is not a single moment. It is a daily discipline of choosing alignment over familiarity. Trust what your body tells you over what your mind argues. Your body is already calibrated to the new frequency, while your mind is still processing. You do not need to understand the full picture today. What you need is to trust the direction, and that direction is forward into the fire, into the version of yourself that has been waiting 165 years for this exact opening. April 2nd was never just a date. It was a doorway that opens once every 165 years. The kind of doorway that entire lifetimes are organized around reaching. Every delay, every confusion, every identity crisis you've faced in the last 14 years, it was preparation. Neptune in Pisces wasn't punishing you, it was softening the old structure, so today's fire could reshape it. Nothing was wasted. The confusion had a purpose. The fog had a function. The dissolution was necessary because what is being born today could not have emerged from rigid, unbroken ground. You're not witnessing a planetary transit. You are living inside one of the most significant spiritual identity shifts in modern human history, and you are conscious of it while it's happening. Now, seal this moment. Leave your declaration below, not just as a comment, but as a covenant with your own becoming. Remain connected to this space, not out of habit, but because something here matches where your soul is headed. You are not here by chance. A 165-year cycle chose this moment to reset, and you chose to be awake when it did. From this point forward, you do not look back. You do not shrink. You do not ask permission. You do not ask permission. You become. And nothing will ever be the same. You are chosen, and now you move differently.